We may be a small racing nation, but our horses have earned a reputation worldwide. Just recently, 3 of our top horses made the top 20 on the Longines World Best Racehorse rankings. It's commendable for a country on the southern tip of Africa. But it's taken people of courage and great vision to make the international world stop and look. He's a pathfinder and had the foresight and courage to go where others had previously not gone before. When the door to international competition started to open, he, to coin his own phrase, kicked that door down. Such was his determination and belief in the strength and quality of South African bloodstock. He's Mike de Kock, and the year was 2003. In his first year in Dubai, and with just a handful of South African horses, Ipi Tombi won the Dubai Duty Free and Victory Moon, the UAE Derby, on the same night. The success literally blew him away.
It's a South African victory in the UAE Derby. For Mike de Kock, it's a winning double on Dubai World Cup night.
The talented Zimbabwean-bred filly was the reason Mike de Kock went to Dubai. 3 years before, he had a taste of international success at the highest level when Horse Chestnut won a Group 3 at Gulfstream Park. He knew what talent it took to win at that level, and with Ipi Tombi, he believed that if there was one horse who could compete on the world stage, it was her.
Ground, and down the outside comes Ipi Tombi.
It was a strong field in the Dubai Duty Free that year, but Ipi Tombi won well, becoming a world champion for South Africa. Her win, along with Victory Moon's success in the UAE Derby on World Cup night, launched South African bloodstock into the international arena. But back then, South Africa could export freely. There were no prohibitive regulatory issues. After 40 days in quarantine in Cape Town, horses flew straight to Dubai for 6 days in quarantine there, and that was it. But shortly after that initial intoxicating success in Dubai, African horse sickness broke out, and South Africa was suspended from trading with the EU and then Dubai. No one wants African horse sickness to leave Southern Africa, but it's not a contagious disease. It's vector-driven, just like malaria. Whether politics have come into play and exacerbated the situation or not, to date, there's been no change in the ban on any of our animals or animal products being exported directly into the EU. But work has been going on behind the scenes to bring about change. This is something that's become increasingly apparent with Mike de Kock's recent announcement that he'll be setting up a satellite yard at Cranbourne Racing Centre just outside Melbourne in Victoria. But perhaps what was even more pertinent was the reason behind his decision. He explained in a press release that we are doing this as a preemptive move for our export protocols opening up. We are confident this will be happening soon. Speaking on his website, Mike commented, "We have a horse here that can take on the best in the world, but we are being held back by quarantine protocols. While we have everything in place, we are desperate with our caps in hand for the European Union to inspect us so we can show them what we've done, show them that the protocol is in place and that we can go and showcase our product to the rest of the world, including Hawam." So what steps have been undertaken this past year to improve our disease control measures?
Look, I'm a great fan of racing, and I believe racing will exist in our country in one guise or another forever. However, I hope and believe that it will be as a competitive sport that positively contributes to the GDP of the country. We're facing a lot of challenges, but there's many good people here, and I think that if we all work together, we can make racing work, be sustainable and profitable. The establishment of an export market is a very vital part of this. However, it is one part. There's many strings that must be pulled together and must work in a cohesive manner in order to make the sustainability of racing a positive thing into the future.
Now they're off for the breeding season. in New Zealand.
There's optimism that protocols may be lifted in the future. What would the final hurdle be to achieve this?
As we just discussed, Michelle, the processes are in place to control disease, mitigate the risk, etc. The final hurdle is political. We're working on that now, and getting the European Union here to audit is what we need to do in order to get across that final hurdle. After they audit, positive result from the audit will result in direct imports and exports from our side being open straight away. I'm confident that we will pass any audit, and in conjunction with our Department of Agriculture and Department of Trade and Industry, we're pushing on a political trade level to get that audit done this year and as soon as possible.
And it's not just Mike de Kock who's hoping that protocols will soon be lifted. In April 2019, the Singaporean Turf Club announced that 3 trainers had been allocated stables at Kranji. 37-year-old Singaporean and assistant trainer Jason Lim is set to take over the bulk of David Hill's current string, with Hill bowing out. Another 37-year-old, this time the Australian Tim Fitzsimmons, assistant to current Kranji trainer Cliff Brown, will be going alone. And our very own Joey Ramsden, who at 50 and after 24 years in his adopted South Africa, is set to spread his wings. Having already learned his trade in the US and Australia, and having trained horses in the UK as well, a move to Singapore looks to simply be another step in Joey Ramsden's globe-trotting career. He'll leave our shores with an impressive record, having won nearly 1,800 races. Of these, 26 were at Group 1 level, with the likes of 2 times Horse of the Year Variety Club, Attenborough, Just Sensual, Winter Solstice, Red Ray, and the Conglomerate, with whom he won the 2016 Vodacom Durban July.
Just a few more to go forward for the Godolphin Mile. There is Variety Club, the dual South African Horse of the Year and a 4-time Grade 1 winner, and the joint top-rated horse in this race of 120.
International success was also achieved with Variety Club when he won the Group 2 Godolphin Mile in 2014.
South Africa's horse, Variety Club, leads all of the way, wins the Godolphin Mile. Second, a photo.
Joey, I know at one time you thought South Africa could be a permanent home for you, but does the world now beckon?
Well, it has been a permanent home. I've still got children here. The world definitely now beckons. Things have certainly changed here a lot. Things have certainly changed on the racing side. You know, from my side, it's very much not the political climate or the disarray the government seems to be in over the whole Eskom thing. But it's more a fact that the disarray that the racing industry seems to be over its government. And, you know, I can't keep hoping that things are going to come like that. Yeah. You know, we've not heard anything, any announcements or anything positive down here in the Western Cape for about 18 months now regarding the situation and what's going on. And I find that very, very sad indeed. And time to move on.
What is it about racing in Singapore that's impressed you as a trainer and attracted you to that country?
The facilities are absolutely out of this world.
Yes.
There's multiple swimming pools, treadmills. The training tracks are first world multiplied by about 3. The prize money is superb, and the remuneration and incentives for owners to have runners are also very, very attractive for owners to have horses over there. And the cost compared to keep and incentives are good, very good.
Will you be taking some of your horses with you when you go across, and will you also hope that some of your owners will support you in Singapore as well?
It looks extremely hard due to the fact that there is no protocol, which we live and dream about, and the costs are prohibitive. You know, around $1 million rand a horse to get them out. It's a pretty tough sell. We're lucky enough to have numerous owners that want to support us when we kick off out there. We'll just have to see what's doable and what's not.
South African success is not unusual in Singapore, with the likes of Patrick Shaw, Fred Krabbier, Byron Forster, JPEG and more having already flown our flag. Joey, what are your time frames looking like between now and the end of the year?
Time frames are tough. We're hoping to open our doors on the 1st of November, very much so in Singapore. And, we're hoping to try and see out the season here and just see what happens with, obviously, with the export and the protocol. Speaking with Adrian, he was hopeful of doing something around September, October, but that looks a bit tricky now. And I know he's working extremely hard on it. So, January or February is, I think, Toddy's more realistic target, and listening to him. And hopefully we can stick around until then and see what happens. But I don't particularly feel it's something that can go on forever and ever. I think racing's shrinking rapidly here, and it'll be hard to keep on going without continued support for an operation here.
Do you believe the future of our sport rests on the establishment of an export market?
Michelle, in the last year, South Africa has finalised the implementation of world-class disease control systems, and I'm very confident in saying that they meet or exceed any international requirements.
In the hope that our export protocols will be lifted in the near future, would you be looking to take South African horses into Singapore?
Yeah, not just for me. We want to position ourselves as being number one in the spot to get horses from South Africa and a viable alternative. Another reason why we're going is we want to be leaders, hopefully, in that field. But it looks a bit of a dream. I know everyone's extremely positive. I've got to remain positive as everyone else is positive, and they know far more about it than me. If it does happen, it's a win-win all round. It'll be a win for us, but more importantly, it'll be a win for South African racing, which at the moment needs a very, very large injection of good hope, good luck, and trust from everybody else.
South Africa is ready, and our breeding and racing industries are also ready to take our best to the world. With the likes of Mike de Kock, Joey Ramsden, and both David Ferraris and Tony Millard in Hong Kong, all desperate to showcase our horses on the world stage, we wish Adrian Todd and his team Godspeed and goodwill. We both hope and pray that the European Union will look favourably on us.